Nice to meet you all. I have to say I was in capacity before a mayor for 14 years in municipality in Slovenia. And from that perspective, I knew a lot about how difficult it is basically to get any kind of a money on, let's say, on a suburb of a certain country, in this case, Slovenia. Well, I'm starting with this because if you would check the latest data, you will see that there is a big difference still existing between the development of the regions within the European Union. Unfortunately, the index today is 1 against 5. So there is a 5-time difference between the wealthiest region in our European Union and the poorest one. The question, €1 million question would be, why this gap isn't closing? And this is exactly that we are working on today. I have to say that I'm preparing the initiative report on the, sorry, I thought I have to, okay, no problem. Okay, great. Thank you for clarification. So to get back on the business, so I'm preparing the initiative report on the simplification of cohesion policy. Why I'm emphasizing that? Because we would like to take under the loop why this gap that I mentioned before isn't closing. I would say there are like 3 main reasons that we would like really to debate upon. The first reason is that we have problems, more and more problems to defend, and it was really said on occasions, defend the resources that are allocated for the cohesion policy. Unfortunately, we have the feeling that cohesion money is there understood as a reserve for anything else than the cohesion is there. So number 1 task would be, or should be, or have to be, that we all would work hard to defend this money to stay well, it is, because there is with a certain purpose. So let's not touch this one. The second thing I would like to raise is the inclusion of the regions and, let's say, local authorities. I don't know how it is in other countries, but in my case, we have the national government that may not be always really attached to the needs of the municipalities and regions. I'm emphasizing this because we would like to bring them more into the decision-making process, especially in the face of programming the funds for the future, because once the funds are programmed, it is really difficult, you would know yourself, to refocus the needs of the people at the bottom of our respective countries. So inclusion, we need the decision-making process, regions and local authorities is really, really important. And the last part that I would like to stress is we have to also keep in mind that whatever we do, whatever we invest into, should be with a purpose to fight also the climate change. Why is this important? Because we will adopt in next week the Restore program. This is the program to help restoration after the natural catastrophe unfortunately is taking place. However, if we will only attack or address consequences and not reasons, well, we would burn billions of euros to be where we are today. So we have to take this also into account. Having said that, I would really be honored, if you would support this initiative report by your standpoint, by your input, in order to have cohesion policy more proactive, more useful, more rational, and really importantly, to be useful for the people living in our municipalities and regions. That is somehow being misunderstood or is not in the focus anymore. We always talk about the subsidiarity approach, but we keep forgetting that when it comes to implementation. And final word that I would like to stress is also, my colleague from Hungary was saying, the cohesion policy should not be kidnapped by the national governments, should not be used as extortion policy for the needs of regions and municipalities. This should not be the case, and we have to do whatever it takes that we, the decision makers in the regions and municipalities, would be able to have access to this kind of resources. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for your important message. We are strongly agree with you that cohesion policy should be neither an emergency fund, as your colleague mentioned, or a cash machine. That's correct. And taking into account the geography of discontent, it's so important in this very moment in Europe. And last but not least, to avoid any kind of kidnapping or centralization of the cohesion policy. I think we are speaking the same language on the same, we have the same approach. Now it's my pleasure